County Commissioners join us for a conversation this morning brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And we say hello to County Commissioners Chairman Mike Keith, along with Commissioners Robin Gorman and Shireen Hess. Morning, everybody.
Morning, Todd.
Good to have you. Good to have you with us here this morning, all of you, as we talk about issues affecting Indiana County and our various municipalities. Who's leading off today?
Any one of us, don't matter.
All right, there you go. If you're going to let me suggest things.
What do you suggest, Todd? What do you want to hear about?
You're the one talking first here,
lead
Shireen.
with something other than COVID.
There is nothing other than COVID. You know that, Robin. Let's start with Shireen. Shireen Hess, Indiana County Commissioner, and some of the issues that we're talking about from a county's perspective. Of course, we always talk to you about elections, Shireen, but you're involved in many other items of interest, including things like our farmers and what's going on with them. We had a Fate of Our Farmers report yesterday talking about how farmers are having to deal with a new business environment. What are you hearing from farmers across Indiana County right now?
Well, what we all are hearing is it's been a real struggle. The last several years have been troubling with some of the tariffs and things like that. And now we have, on top of COVID and all of the fallout of that for our producers, we have a drought happening, and that is very challenging as well. The Pennsylvania and the legislature and the governor passed the Pennsylvania Farm Bill probably about 2 years ago, and so there are some resources out there, and there's a real emphasis on our new and beginning farmers, and I see that I see cropping up from time to time now, hopefully more frequently. Younger folks who have decided that that's what they want to do. They understand that this is a business, it's not a lifestyle, and they're taking steps to educate themselves. And there are some good resources from the state and the federal government. Congressman Thompson had a good ag summit, virtual, the other day, and we learned a lot of good things about that. So it's a struggle, but boy, I have faith in our farmers and our producers, and they're the hardest working people that we all know, and we need to help them. We need to get out of their way in a lot of ways, but we also need to be there for them and assure them that we want to be a partner as far as local government.
Yeah, within the farming industry, the aging farm population, certainly it's great that those farmers have been here for all these many decades, but as they pass on to the next generation the opportunity to do what they need to do, we realize it gets more expensive every single day to operate a farm.
Actually part of the legislation, part of the Farm Bill is to match up mentors with new farmers, and there's funding to help with that, and there are a lot of good resources, locally and at the state and federally.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to bring up this morning, Shireen?
Regarding elections, it has been a very interesting year. New legislation, a primary during a pandemic, mail-in ballots, new machines, litigation. So it's like it's never a dull moment. But we do have a wonderful elections team, and we have a number of frequently asked questions, kind of a document that we're putting together. So people just need to know, call the courthouse if you have any questions at all about voting.
All right.
We're here for you.
There you go. Robin Gorman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Todd.
What can we talk about with you here this morning from a county perspective? What are some of the issues that are right at the top of the list for you?
Well, I'm going to follow up with Commissioner Hess's comments regarding the farmers. 2 weeks ago, we hosted a farm tour at Yarnick, and Mr. Yarnick is doing some amazing things out there with crops and greenhouses, along with, of course, Bob Pollock. And I just reiterate the remarks that were made. Farmers, in my opinion, have always had it tough. They always are fighting the natural elements and then all kinds of policies and things that come down that they have to work within. So we just give a great big shout out to them, and they persevere, and they're amazing people, as well as their families. Voters registration, Shireen is right. Please go to the courthouse website. We have a great team, or you can go to www.votespa.com. Find out everything you want to know about the general election. Last day to register to vote is October 19th, and the last day for the mail-in ballot applications is October 27th. So there's obviously a lot of going on about that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'd like to mention this morning, Todd, is you've probably seen a lot of things in the newspaper regarding broadband. So we've got about 68 miles of what I would call the northern corridor and down the east and west sides of Indiana. People are very excited. Our courthouse has been inundated with calls of interest to see how they can get hooked in and if their particular road or place where they live will be covered. And so first time in a while we've heard some very good positive news and excitement about something happening that people need very desperately in the county.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk resources for those people that have those sorts of questions. Short of calling and asking those questions, is there, and I know it's ironic, is there an online resource where they can check into it?
Actually, like Shireen said, we're putting question and answer document together for registration and voting, and it seems like we can never get in front of it quick enough. We are putting the same kind of document together for broadband. That is exactly what people need, is where can they go to find out the answers. And obviously our vendor and primary provider is SolsGiver. And again, we don't want to overwhelm any one person or vendor. So we're putting together a website, a call-in, where people can truly get fast, accurate information.
Okay, that sounds good. And probably we need to schedule a time just dedicated to that here on Indiana in the Morning, where we can really flesh it out, and maybe we could do that soon too.
That would be fantastic.
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think about that. Meanwhile, there's Mike Keith over there. Mike, good morning to you.
Morning, Todd.
What's going on with you?
Just additional to the broadband, just to kind of get the word out that all this construction that we actually signed, and like Robin mentioned, the last meeting, it was 68 mile, but there was two projects before that. Just to understand that what's going on, they're actually constructing this, and it's under the CARES funding. Mm-hmm. And we've probably spent, I believe, around $1.7 million so far of that for broadband. But the goal is this has to be spent, finished, complete, paid for by December 30th. And so all this construction, main line might be going out. Some houses could be actually installed into their homes. But at the end of the day, the main line has to be what they call lit by 12:30 for this funding to actually pay for it. Mm-hmm. On top of that, we just were actually told that there's an ARC Power grant that Byron Stauffer applied for the county of $1.5 million, which we got to match 1.5. That actually got moved to the second round. So that's exciting too, because at the end of the day, that'll be $3 million additional monies that we're going to be putting towards projects.
Yeah, and it's important so the timing is so important in all of this, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so some other things that folks are talking about besides broadband and COVID and farming. Those are the three areas we've covered so far this morning. What else is on the agenda?
The Alice Paul House is nearing completion. That's one thing. Our outdoor recreation, bike trails and parks have been used very heavily these last several months. So yeah. We love that. We have a great park system here. So just give a shout out to our Parks and Trails Director, Ed Patterson, for keeping it all going and helping people to find an outlet for these tough times.
We like to look ahead here on Indiana in the Morning, but in life in general, we look ahead to what will be coming in 3 months, 6 months, those sorts of things. And while we've gone through this pandemic for the most part in the good weather months, there will come a time when weather turns bad. And many of the things that we've been able to use the outdoors for, such as outdoor dining and things of that nature, that won't be available to us in the winter months. Are there things that the county is looking at that that, okay, we can do this in the summertime, but in the winter we're not? We're not going to have that resource available to us, and ways that we can get around those issues?
Well, we really have, and some of that gets back to, as I mentioned, CARES funding. The CARES funding right now is going to go through the first round, and that funding, we're actually dealing with certain aspects that we can put that funding to. When it comes down to the second round of funding, the monies that are left there, we're going to probably, again, be putting money towards trying to find ways to actually help create, it's the inventive opportunities, I guess you want to say, to these businesses so they kind of come back with an opportunity we can help them with.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the business community I know is nervous about, is what happens next when the weather turns bad and we're not able to use our outdoor facilities like we are. And so they're looking for help, whether it's state help, federal help, or in your case, county help, what you can do. Do you get any inquiries from folks about things that they're going to be needing in the coming months?
Well, what Commissioner Keith was talking about was this CARES Act funding that all the counties received from the federal government through the state, and there's allocations or possibilities for those dollars to help businesses, nonprofits, any number of sectors of our community to prepare and deal with, not only prepare but deal with the effects of COVID. So to be frank about it, a lot of people are just trying to get through what's happening right now, and it's pretty tough for restaurants and bars right now with the 25% cap on capacity. So they're coming up with some pretty inventive things here. I've seen little parking spots being in lieu of a parking space becoming just an area for dining, or to give a little bit of buffer to the street. So those are all good things, but to be truthful, I think this is a good opportunity for businesses to, and I'm sure they are, start thinking about how are we going to prepare for those, as you say, the colder months, because outdoor dining will not be a thing for too much longer.
Yeah, of course.
But we're interested. I mean, but that's something that we want to hear all those ideas, and I'm sure the Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Indiana, or any number of business-friendly kinds of organizations, or Tourist Bureau, trying to help solve some of those problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're not exactly looking forward to, but knowing that the flu season will be starting soon. And I'm sure you join me and everybody else in urging people, get your flu shots, because you don't want to double up on the flu and COVID at the same time. It's rough enough right now, and we need to keep people from coming down with the flu as much as it's possible, just to avoid inundating hospitals and doctors' offices.
Couldn't agree more with you.
I would like to just get out there to the public, and I want to thank you and Brenda and so many others in our Complete Count Committee about the census. Mm-hmm. And right now, obviously, the focus is on working with our landlords, but mainly off campus, but on campus and IUP. They're doing a phenomenal job, and we just want to keep the pedal to the metal and get folks, please reply to your census.
Yep, there's a deadline there as well. Very good. Our commissioners, Mike Keith, Shireen Hess, Robin Gorman, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, we'll see you again. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, and AM 1160, and AM